Okay, match one. Have to do post match commentary here because just I think I got a call and it just kind of took too long. It ended up taking long enough that it was gonna make the viewing experience just not worthwhile. So yeah, opponents just GL. And here we can't complain with this hand. We've got interaction, we've got Thraben Inspector. It looks like it's it looks like it's Hardened Scales. This should be an interesting matchup. This is going to be a slog. Buckle in. This one might be a while. Okay, they play Urza, they play Ozolith, play Hardened Scales. And see, here's this example that we bring up. This is where we definitely want to... Wait, why is this not going? Yeah, okay. This is where we definitely want to play Thraben Inspector, and it's weird. For whatever reason, it takes multiple clicks. Yeah, so that was a good use of our mana. Couldn't do that. Can't do that with Giver Runes, can ya? Okay. Oh, you know what? Because I think there was somewhat long pauses because of the phone call. I was trying to play a little bit, I think, during the call, and that was just like not happening. So there's probably some, especially around here, that's probably why so many clicks and nothing's happening. I guess in retrospect, maybe I could have just started the video in and filled in a little bit, which very early on I do that, but I just felt like I think this progressed long enough that I'm just like, I'll just do a post-game commentary. Well, actually, maybe I was like, I'll do a post-game commentary, maybe if if the league feels like it's a good enough viewing experience to upload. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So Construct. Yeah, and don't worry, not every single game is going to be post-match commentary. Although, just FYI, the next two upcoming games are post-match commentary, but then the last two are not. So yeah, so obviously I've already recorded all of the matches when I'm recording this. Yeah. There was an issue with match 2 and match 3. I was on mute inexplicably for some reason. Sometimes that happens. So anyway. So we do obviously we took their Hardened Scales because that's just the card that allows them to combo off and go completely nuts. Thalia may or may not actually do much, but here with Aven Mindscensor we can take them off of the Urza land, and hey, and we're very lucky. They have a lot of basics, but they did not get one, and we took them off the Urza land, and we got a land. See, this is like the first. See, already game 1, match 1, game 1, and already you can see like why I'm kind of higher on Aven Mindscensor than Leonin Arbiter. Just Leonin Arbiter, I would have also had to lose a land there, and also it wouldn't be a 2/1 flying body. So I don't know what to say other than that. That's definitely a plus for Mindscensor. Of course, being more vulnerable to Walking Ballista, that's definitely a minus. Walking Ballista. I don't see anything to chump just yet. I'll take. We can Solitude next turn. There's no reason to take this up. Yeah, so let's see here. There must be another pause here or something because I'm clicking a lot and it's still not going. Okay. Yeah, there's no reason not to just hardcast it. Let's see if they ping it. Nope. So I think what the play is we want to Solitude. Now, as it turns out, they had the wherewithal to pump the Walking Ballista, and they kept up the mana. I decided to wait anyway, because you just never know if they play like Arcbound Ravager, go all in on the Moth Nexus, and then you feel really silly for Solituding before. I've played this matchup enough to know that even though sometimes you get hosed like this, and honestly, I think they should have gone after the Solitude instead of getting the 1/1 token. Maybe that's just me. But anyway. Also, maybe they should have just let it die and put the Ozolith counters on. They probably should have killed the Mindscensor, but then let it die and had the other 2 counters go on Ozolith. The thing is, once the counters go on Ozolith, then like it just snowballs from there, because then the counters inevitably end up going back once one of the creatures dies. Anyway, so maybe that's just me, but... So we play Thraben Inspector, and see, like, Giver of Runes could have been okay here, but honestly here I just like being able to draw an extra card. And Charming Prince for Solitude makes me feel very good. Can't do that with Giver of Runes. Now we take a little bit of risk here. I just don't think they're going to double block. I do think they value this high enough that they don't. So we took a little bit of a risk, and I'm comfortable doing so. And we can flicker the Solitude. We can get rid of the token. I like getting rid of the token also because no, I mean I don't know what to say. Just it's more threatening. Ooh, Hangerback Walker. This could be a little problematic, but let's see. Mortarpod. So actually, here what we can do is we can play Mortarpod. We have to pay 3 for the Thalia, but that's okay. We can afford that. So we're going to try to go after the Hangerback. Of course, they can Welding Jar protect it, but at least we get rid of their Welding Jar. Yeah. They do combine blockers finally. Yeah, so another Walking Ballista. That's getting a little rough. They seem to be almost. Okay, so yeah. Well, Skyclave. This goes a long way towards helping the situation. I think I have to go after the Ballista, even though Hangerback Walker is annoying. And this time they just put the counters on. And I can see why. None of our creatures are that threatening, and they can go really nuts with the Hangerback. That being said, the Walking Ballista would have just taken over the game, so... Pay 2 for the Aether Vial, we can afford to play it. Looks good. Oh my goodness, like, they seem to just have never-ending threats, and we start to become a little disheartened here, but we still play on. We don't give up, mentally or physically. We really feel like it though here, not gonna lie. We really are not that enthusiastic, but we have a chump blocker. They put a lot of counters. We continue putting a lot of counters. This time I think we have to chump block, but we can... Oh, never mind, we don't. Can't explain exactly why I didn't just block and ping, but... You know. But I guess I'm just like, I don't know, I just never know. So we continue. Skyclave Apparition. Hey, so once again, same, second burst, same as the first. Getting, having the potential to get rid of Walking Ballista. They kill the Thalia, and then they... I guess on the plus side, we get to sneak some damage in. They could have blocked with Inkmoth, but, I think they want to keep the Archbound Ravager kill out of nowhere plan live. And I'm going to become a little worried about that when they activate it, but they don't put it on. And see, the next thing, here's a little hidden advantage to Mortarpod here. They might have been thinking about putting this on Inkmoth, but can't do that with Mortarpod in play. So then I just ping it in response. Yeah, and they can't, they don't have Archbound Ravager, thankfully, so they can't just put all the counters in response. Yeah, I think we do have to chump. No, actually we don't, and I think we don't chump. We're in a precarious enough situation that we have to get a little bit lucky, so that's what we're playing for. This is unfortunate, but we do get to attack before and keep a, now we have to chump with the Thraben Inspector. We get to thin a little bit here, and we're almost out of planes. That tells you. Oh, Ancient Stirrings, we're not feeling too good. Power Conduit, that was kind of a whiff. I think that was we can't always expect for them to whiff with that, but it looks like it happened. Actually, and you know what, last turn, I probably should have blocked and pinged the Inkmoth now that I think about it. But, yeah, when they attacked with Inkmoth and this, oh no, but I didn't, I attacked with this, which is probably the correct play. Anyway, so, yeah, yeah, exactly. They wouldn't just expose this to a chump block and then ping. So anyway, I go after their face. And, yeah, and then it's our turn. And I think I get Flickerwhisp here, like, and that definitely, we have to play to, like, to getting a little bit lucky here. And, you know, obviously them basically just drawing nothing, getting mana flooded definitely is definitely lucky from us, and then drawing Flickerwhisp here is definitely lucky as well, so I think we get the good luck we needed, where I'm feeling good, and I'm thinking we're going to close this. Yeah, I just wanted to play around some kind of weird shenanigans. I wanted to know if they were going to produce a million tokens, because, well, I guess they would have just won at 1 life, but it is worth noting that unless they could somehow sacrifice the Hangerback Walker and get a billion blockers, we could just attack even if they block 1, then to go down to 1, and then we just equip Mortarpod, finish them off with a little bit of Mortarpod reach, which, like I said, maybe that's kind of an underrated ability. But anyway, all right, so that's game 1 in match 1 down. Let's go to the rest. All right, game 2 in match 1. Let's see how this one went. Yeah, this hand's a little speculative, but hey, it does stuff. And Charming Prince, we're gonna hope Charming Prince really helps smooth us out. And thankfully, just drawn another land, so that goes a long way towards being smoothed out automatically. Yeah, and let's see how we sideboard real quick. Yeah, so here we side out Thalia because it didn't seem like they had enough. Yeah, especially on the draw, I just feel like Thalia has the least internal synergies with the deck, and they're not like a combo deck, so there's no intrinsic need to, like, really slow them down to a crawl. Just outvaluing them is like we did in game 1 is probably the better overall plan than try to slow them down. So since there's no, like, internal synergies, since there's no, like, intrinsic as powerful synergies, at least as, like, a lot of the other cards, Thalia comes out for a Path to Exile. And then that's basically it. Yeah, Archon could be a consideration, but I think with, like, you know, also with Urza Saga, I think having access to Aven Mindscensor definitely could come in handy, where they can prevent their search on the final chapter, or at least make it very unlikely to get something worthwhile. But they've got a lot of 1 mana artifacts, so honestly, Urza Saga is definitely, I think, one of the best possible cards for Amulet. I mean, not Amulet, Hardened Scales. So, yeah, they play Hangerback Walker just to be mana efficient. We just path. I don't normally necessarily like doing that, but our hand's just so clunky that I think we have to do that. So we scry 2, and we put both to the bottom because I'm not really feeling drawing either of those at this point. I just want more value. The Aether Vial could be good with the Flickerwhisp, but I don't know. We can always rip another one off the top. At least we're 1 card deeper. So they get the token. Here I think I make a minor misplay. I think I Flickerwhisp the token because that seems like pretty good value. In reality, I think I should have gone after the Urza land with the Fielder Rune. Oh, never mind, I do, so never mind. Alright, so I think that was correct. And then next turn I think I Flickerwhisp the... Ooh! Things are getting dicey, but... Ooh, it's actually Arcbound Ravager that really, that actually is kind of their marquee card. This definitely makes things. This makes this like a spiritual successor to the Affinity deck. It's the Arcbound Ravagers. Still, I think we have no choice. I think we're priced into flickering the token. It's just too good. Too good to pass up. Of course, they still get to just put a counter on Arcbound Ravager, but at least we dealt with a 4/4. We're kind of hoping they go all in on something for some reason, but, you know, they've seen enough removal from us. I don't think they're going to get too frisky. Alright, well, I think we have to flicker that, but the problem is they're going to get 1,000,001 tokens, so... See what I mean? See what, like, Arcbound Ravager, but yeah. Flickering this is almost the same thing as just killing it outright, so I think they will have to respond by cracking it. But, yeah, okay, so they put a Magic counter on, and then they counter it, put a Magic counter on. At least we have a fairly good path target in the Arcbound Ravager here. That is the 3/3 Arcbound Ravager. Put a path up. We can't attack because they've got a bunch of 1/1 flyers that'll easily block our Flickerwhisp. Okay, what I can't fully explain is that they inexplicably attack with everything. they seem to not learn their lesson from game 1, where like we squeezed in enough damage from enough of their kind of reckless attacks. Anyway, so we're going to take all. Not sure why I didn't path end a turn. I guess I'm still hoping that they go all in on the Ravager. Anyway, so what we do... Yeah, I guess I just didn't need to path then. What we do is we attack with both of these in the turn, and then we Skyclave one of the Archon Ravagers. You know, there definitely is the makings of a possible comeback here. We Skyclave one of the Archon Ravagers, they sack to the other Ravager, and what we can do now, here, what we plan to do, we're going to wait until their turn, is we're going to path the Archon Ravager, and then the hope is they put all the counters on... No, actually what we do is... Sorry, actually we have to path the 4/4. We were hoping they would put the counters on Archon Ravager, but they conservatively decide to spread it out a little more. So we're just dead here if we don't do something 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so we have to path the 4/4 token. What the hope is here, since we're mostly tapped out, and we've only got 2 cards in hand, the hope is that they start going all in on their Thopters, and it does look like that's what happens. So here what we do is we can obviously just pitch and play the Solitude, which we do, and we're happy to do that. And I mean, we take 5 damage, which is not nice, but okay. So I'm thinking maybe the makings of like a comeback are here. I mean, you know, they have 6 mana untapped. Like, obviously we're worried about... We can't really beat a Walking Ballista here. I mean, I suppose we could hold back both Flickerwisps. I mean, that way we... No, but then they could just use one of their counters from a Walking Ballista on the Flickerwisp that we're going to play, and then attack for... Actually, they could just use... all 3 counters on all of them, and then just attack for lethal in the air. So we're just cold to... I think like we basically just lose to Walking Ballista. So we play this, and we have at least one other blocker. We maybe could have played on Archon Ravager by holding one other Flickerwisp up, but considering that this would be a pretty major comeback, I guess... Let's see, if we had kept one more blocker untapped, I guess we'd play around Archon Ravager. They would have been at 4, but then we can't really win the next turn, because then we would have attacked with 3, they block 2, go down to 1. Yeah, actually, in retrospect, maybe it was slightly better to keep one more Flickerwisp untapped, leave them at 4. I just really didn't want them to... I see, like, Phyrexia's Core, and suddenly, as soon as they played this, I'm like, yes, we made the right call, because this definitely has the potential, together with something else, like, I don't know, Hangerback Walker, like, putting them exactly at 1 life, I've spread enough threats on the board that I'm like, okay, as long as I don't have Walking Ballista or Archon Ravager, then I think I can squeeze through that last point of damage, and the comeback is complete. But, of course, they ripped Walking Ballista, which was a little disheartening, but it happens. And we know they ripped it because they had 6 mana untapped last turn and didn't play it. So they certainly would have played it. There would have been no reason not to play it. So they ripped it, and that's okay. A lot of times they do just rip it, and you know, I mean, hey, we ripped our Flickerwisp, so that's just how the game goes. Alrighty. Okay, match 1, game 3 in match 1. Let's get to it. Of course, we'd like to be on the play. Gotta love the Thraben Inspector. Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic, and actually here we get Kaldra, and I think here is going to be a showcase for one of the matchups. And actually, this is the first time we freaking see Stoneforge Mystic. Now that I think about it, this is definitely like probably our marquee card, and we didn't see it until now. But here, like Kaldra, I think, yeah, I mean the life gain can be okay. But the trample is so relevant. This is a matchup where, like, having access to the trample is probably going to be way better, because, like, they just don't have good chump blocks here. They would play this Flagstone, sack the Flagstones. Yeah, and I think they forget that it has trample, which is nice. This is still a card people are learning. So, I mean, maybe that was on purpose to get a modular counter. Another Archon Worker, and they're a little bit mana screwed. So, So, you know, what I can do here is I can attack again, and then I think since they missed their land drop, I'm going to play Aven Mindscensor and Ghost Quarter to try to keep them off of green mana, or maybe they can't even, you know, play Hardened Scales anymore and stuff, and they don't find a basic, and GG's, I guess they don't hit their next land drop, and the Kaldra, oh, here's another thing worth noting, they can't block the they can't profitably block the Kaldra, what do you call it? The Kaldra, even with a 6/6, because even though it's bigger, this has first strike, and it has, whenever this creature does combat damage to a creature, exile that creature. So it's going to first strike, and then it's going to exile the Zabaz before it even deals damage to the token. Plus it has indestructible anyway, so even if they did block it, it wouldn't die, but it'll exile it with first strike. So basically, they're mana screwed, and our Kaldra is putting them on an insanely fast clock. And yep, this is, I think, honestly, we probably won more than anything just because we managed to mana screw them with Aven Mindscensor. But that being said, without the Kaldra putting on an insane clock, they probably wouldn't have scooped here. And you never know, I've seen them come back from crazier stuff. No doubt about it, this matchup is definitely a good showcase for the value of having Kaldra in your equipment toolbox. And ultimately, I just decided to try Kaldra because Skyclave, Maul of the Skyclaves. I just basically never played it, and the one time I did in my testing, I was thoroughly regretting not getting Sword of Fire and Ice, even though it was doing pretty good. Just it was just very, I was very, very unsure that that was the correct card to go fetch. With Kaldra, like, at least I know in the matchups where this is good, I know that it's correct to fetch it, and Sword of Fire and Ice is just so often going to be the correct fetch, to be honest. There's even a good chance that a lot of times our opponents, when they fetched Maul and Skyclaves against us in previous decks we played, that they probably should have fetched Sword of Fire and Ice. So anyway, long story short, I don't know why I'm justifying it, other than just that at least here we do get to see a showcase for Kaldra and this card doing work. Yep. All right. If you like this content, like, subscribe. Mainly smash that like button. You know, the more we can hit that like button, I think apparently the more the algorithm will like my content. So, all right. Anyway, take care, all, and let's see how the rest of the matches go.